So, I just got back from PAX West 2024 yesterday, and it was an absolute blast. There were many exhibitors that had many cool demos for games that I was either already super excited for, or games that I am now super excited for. But there was one booth that stood above the rest, in all of its big, red, super long wait time glory. The Nintendo booth. At the Nintendo booth, they had a few games they were showing off. Some better than others. The game that I was most excited for going in was the Echoes of Wisdom demo. They had it as the first station in their booth, so as soon as my 4-hour wait was done, they didn't tease you with any other games first, which was for the best.
This guy stinks!
It was only around 10 to 15 minutes, but they were able to cram in a lot of content into that small time frame. They started us off close to the start of the game, but likely not right at the beginning. We started off locked in a dungeon, and it seems like we just unlocked the ability to use echoes. Echoes are your main tool in the game, it seems, and if you walk up to a glowing object, you'll be able to learn the echo of that object, and create a copy of it at any time. You can only have 3 echoes out at a time though, so it definitely makes you think in some situations. Later on in the demo, there was a chest on a cliff, and my Zelda brain kicked in. I needed to get up there, but I struggled a bit to find a combination of only 3 echoes that would get me there. The game makes you think a bit before you just go ahead and start putting echoes down. One thing I was really worried about was echoes being mostly functionally the same with cosmetically different looks, but each one in the demo was a little bit different. They all had different sizes that helped with different situations, and there was even a boulder that was heavy and would sink in water. After we broke out of the prison, there was a section quite similar to the castle ground section in Ocarina of Time, or the Yiga clan hideout in Breath of the Wild. However, the stealth was much more in depth. It gives me a lot of hope for the stealth mechanics in the game since it took up a good portion of the tutorial. It isn't as complex as, say, Metal Gear Solid or anything, but you can throw pots or boxes to distract enemies and sneak around them. I figured since you don't have a dedicated attack button, the game will reward stealth a lot more. You can even hide inside of pots, which I think is really fun. I can see some people not liking the stealth, but as an avid stealth game enjoyer, I am super excited to see what's to come. After all that, we get a small little cutscene where we meet Impa, and she helps us escape. Here's your spoiler warning, however, it's the beginning of the game, so I don't think it's going to be a huge issue. Impa and Zelda have a small conversation about the situation they're in before Zelda gets out into the world. From what I gather, there's a rift that appeared in Hyrule and it's quickly consuming the kingdom. It seems that both Link and the king have been trapped within this rift, and the king has been replaced by some sort of imposter who imprisoned Zelda. We also learn that Zelda is the only one who can see her new companion Tri. That's pretty much all the story the demo gave us, but it's at least enough to get me hooked. After we get that exposition, Zelda then needs to escape the castle in order to go and start her main quest. We go through the Royal Family Passage, which has 3D platforming gameplay reminiscent of the second Zelda game, Adventures of Link, which I personally really like. I kinda miss those old passages in that game, and I think it's awesome that they're bringing it back. After that, we get put into the overworld. First thing I noticed is that they brought back the little slime guys from old 2D Zelda titles, as well as the sea urchins. Combat in the demo wasn't that deep, but I can definitely see bigger enemies being a real challenge. By the time we got to this part, we collected quite a few echoes, and it really brought my biggest complaint to light. And that is that the Echoes menu works identical to the Tears of the Kingdom quick swap menus. I can already see myself spending a minute or two looking for the right echo. I thought that Nintendo would have learned from Tears, however, it's possible that they had already decided to use the same menu long before the criticism of the system came to light. Regardless, the game looks super solid from the small amount of time I was able to play, and I am extremely excited to finally be able to play the whole thing. This video was pretty short, but to be fair, there was only so much gameplay. I would say the game looks very promising and is more than likely going to be a smash hit. Now, in other news, my mascot horror game is progressing smoothly. Chapter 1 is nearing completion, which means you should subscribe and turn on notifications so that you don't miss when the next video about that comes out. I am also working on something completely new. For the longest time, I've wanted to break out into long-form content game, so I am writing a video essay about one of my favorite games of all time, Far Cry 6. Shut up. Originally, it was going to be a video about the game as a whole, however, it's turning into a long-ass character analysis video. I have no clue how long that's going to take, but if that sounds interesting to you, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Okay, now with the shameless plugs out of the way, this 3-minute video is over. Can't wait for Echoes of the Wisdom, and I'll see you in the next one.